Traveling the Vortex.
We've joined the Doctor as she travels the Vortex and arrived at episode 460, where we're here to lend a helping hand. I'm Keith.
I'm Sean.
I'm Glenn.
How are you guys?
We're the helping hands.
I guess it'd be more fingers.
So, okay, 5 fingers detach themselves from the guy's hand. We know one of them goes in the ear.
Where are the rest going?
Been trying really hard not to think about it.
Oh, yeah, you probably shouldn't. Do you guys have a good week?
Yes.
Yes.
Do anything fun?
We went to an Oscar party last night.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
how was
did.
the party? Sorry I didn't make it.
It was fun.
Parties that go that late aren't very conducive to a 2.5-year-old.
No.
Nor are they a 4-year-old.
Not even really conducive to my 11-year-old.
How late did it go?
He seemed like he was wearing down there at the end.
It was the earliest, I think, in Oscars. It ended in a long time. It was about 10:35. Well, it was 10:35.
Yeah, because you called it.
I know for a
Exactly.
fact because it was my tiebreaker time. I've never ever landed exactly on my tiebreaker time.
He beat me, thanks to that.
Because
we tied.
Yeah, 17 correct guesses each, and I got the tiebreaker.
Nice.
But that didn't really matter because Mel skunked us both, so she got 18.
Well, that's not really a skunking. That's just
No, it's not.
1 point.
But she did good.
Yeah.
I was very impressed. I think there were a few surprises last night as far as the Oscars go, but
One big one.
one really big one. Not for me. I picked it.
It was a pretty good show from what I saw of it.
It was all right. I think it needs a host, but
I was thinking about that watching it. I don't know that it necessarily needs a host, but I think you need some sort of narrative thread that runs through it to tie it all together. And what I don't need is people coming up and being introduced so that they can turn around and introduce other people who are going to turn around and introduce the award.
Well, they even made a joke
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, and for the most part, honestly, I didn't know who any of those first group of people were.
Yeah.
Every time somebody came up, I was looking at them going, am I supposed to know you? Because I don't. Maybe that's what they're doing this year. They're just grabbing random people off the street to come in. Oh, you're dressed up. Come here and do this. But I don't know what that was.
Well, I think people will start knowing Anthony Ramos' name by next year. I think he's probably going to be nominated
Yeah.
for In the Heights.
Oh, yeah. He'll be known.
Yeah.
But then they kind of kept...
And then in a couple more years for Hamilton.
Yeah.
Now, Lynn will probably get that one because he'll take that role.
Well, they've already filmed that one.
Oh, have they?
Yeah, it's the staged version.
Oh,
Of
yeah.
the
yeah.
original
Yeah,
Broadway
That's
cast.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that.
But then they kept doing these throwbacks to hosts, like, oh, hey, here's Chris Rock and Steve Martin. And here's Maya Rudolph. And I said, why are you bringing all these people on to do this if you're not really going to do it? I don't know.
They want a taste of host, but not a commitment.
Yeah.
But no, overall, I thought it was a pretty good show. A lot of the stuff.
I don't know. I thought it was a little lackluster, to be
Really?
honest with you. Yeah.
There were things that worked. I think there were things that did not. There are still things that are issues, as with every Oscar broadcast.
I like the Eminem performance, even though they had to cut out the audio on a few of the lines.
Well, that's just the song,
Yeah.
isn't it?
What was the deal that he wasn't able to perform it the year that it was nominated? Because he won, didn't it? Didn't that song win?
Yeah, he's got
Academy
an
Award?
Oscar. Yeah.
But he didn't perform it the year that it was nominated.
Did he not?
No. I don't know why.
I don't remember what the controversy was about it or something.
Either he just didn't show up, or...
I kind of half expected Elton John to come out and sing with him.
Oh.
Since they came out together on
Right.
that I was like, well, Elton's there.
Yeah.
But nope.
Elton had to come out later.
We went and saw the Globetrotters tonight.
Oh, how was that?
Yeah, it's fun. We like it. We enjoyed it. I haven't got to go in so many years because I used to work nights. So I got some tickets, and I was like, going this year.
Did they win?
They did win. Yeah, it was a close game though. Mostly because the Generals rolled back the score to make it tied right before the end. That was the first time I had seen anything like that. So.
Is that legal?
I told the kids that there's a lot of things that they do that are very familiar and they've always done since I've been going as a kid. But it's always nice that they add fresh new things to the gimmick, and they did again this time. Had some clever stuff, especially one where they did a whole play in rewind, including in having the audience, like we did a wave all the way around the Coliseum or the event center. And then
so much grander when you tell the story
during this play. And then they did it all in reverse. And of course, then we had to do the wave in reverse the way we went. And then they did it all in slow motion. And so we had to do the wave in slow motion with them. It was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's cool.
They had the best was there was the gals walking down the thing selling cotton candy, and they stopped and said, "Wait, we're supposed to be doing this in slow motion, cotton candy girls." And so these are like staff members of the expo center, and they're like, they start going in slow motion, walking down the stairs. It was fun. They got a good show.
Nice.
Not a lot of turnout, unfortunately, but it was a good show nonetheless. That's it. I didn't really watch anything. I had intended to watch some Oscar films before Oscars, and I didn't. So, oh well.
Yeah.
What did we determine you had seen? 3?
3.
That's more than I'd seen of the Oscar nominated, of the Best Picture.
No,
Well,
I
no,
haven't
we're-
seen any of those. I'm talking about of the entire ballot. I've only seen 3.
We're including Frozen 2 for Best Song.
Yep.
Avengers.
Avengers.
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't
that was
Avengers.
the third one.
Avengers
Rise of-
wasn't nominated, was it?
Yeah, I got for Best Visual Effects, I think.
Okay, because I knew Rise of Skywalker
And
was.
Rise of Skywalker was another one. Those were the 3 that I'd seen.
Okay, I got 2 of those.
That's pretty sad.
It's an off year for you.
It really is. Anything else?
We went and saw The Gentleman today. The new
Oh yeah,
Guy
with,
Ritchie.
Hugh Grant. So really, the only reason I want to see that is because it's a very different role for you.
It's a very different
Oh,
role
I didn't
for
even know
him.
Hugh Grant was in that.
Yeah.
He's the very thick accented gangster telling the story in the trailer. It's
Oh.
like, is that Hugh Grant? I think that's Hugh Grant. Oh my God, that's Hugh Grant. If you like Guy Ritchie films, it's very fun.
They're kind of hit and miss with me. I like the majority of them though. I think there was only a couple that I did wasn't.
You kind of have to enjoy that, crime gangster
Yeah.
comedy.
If it's Guy Ritchie, you're actually doing a Guy Ritchie movie as opposed to, King Arthur.
Right.
We don't talk about that one.
Yeah. I finished reading Master and Apprentice. I like that one. That was good.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites of the Star Wars new canon novels.
Really made me want more of Dooku and Qui-Gon together. A story of their master and apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Because some of those sections were some of the best sections overall. But overall, it was an intriguing story that I appreciated. It was good. I would highly recommend it.
I'm nearly done with Queen's Shadow, but I can't recommend it very much because I'm slogging through it. So
Master and Apprentice is Obi-Wan and Dooku?
No, Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon.
Or Obi-Wan
But
and Qui-Gon.
There are interludes.
that are Qui-Gon and Dooku.
And the overall book features another of Dooku's apprentices that had become no longer his apprentice by the time Qui-Gon did. And so some of it, the interludes are Qui-Gon and this other guy back when Qui-Gon's young and Dooku's still around. So
Because Obi-Wan's, like my favorite.
it's a good Obi-Wan
From
story.
the prequel stories. Well, Palpatine's probably my favorite, but Obi-Wan's my favorite. But Dooku, based on the strength of all the stories in the books, Dooku's kind of a second runner-up because he just gets more fascinating with each little tidbit that you learn about this tragic story.
Being halfway through Dooku Jedi Lost, this one kind of takes the wind out of those sails. But Master and Apprentice does a good job of building up that, ooh, he's a really interesting guy.
Well, maybe I'll read that one then.
Yeah, that one's good. Plus, it's a good Obi-Wan story, so you get a double whammy.
Well, the best is when they're going after that assassin gal.
Yeah.
That was pretty intriguing.
Why isn't that a whole book?
Yeah, exactly.
Because that also seems like right before.
Uh-huh.
You guys are cute when you speak in code.
Not very veiled code, probably, if you're familiar with the Star Wars lore.
All right, well, should we move on to feedback? No? News?
I was going to roll with it and just go do feedback.
You want to do the reviews?
Yeah. Our reviews.
Okay, so news. They have announced and revealed the cover art for the Faceless Ones, and they've announced bonus features and release date for the UK.
Asterisk. UK release date.
I have not been able to find a US release date yet. But it's coming out March 16th in the UK on Blu-ray, DVD, and Steelbook. The Steelbook is very pretty.
It is very pretty.
And loads of bonus.
And the DVD is not.
It's kind of the same vein as the Macroterror was.
Glenn, I'm going to need another cover.
Yeah. I'm really disappointed. I mean, the animation of these things, I'm really, really enjoying, and I think they're so well done. And then we get these really lackluster covers.
It's almost defeating the purpose. Because the whole point of cover art is to wow and intrigue and, make people want to buy this. And it seems like they're just putting zero effort into it. It's a bare minimum of requirements. Let's see, it's a Doctor Who story, so we got to put that on the cover, the title. It's this Doctor, so we're going to put that on there. And maybe a hint of something else. And maybe they're just banking on the fact that because it's a Doctor Who story, Doctor Who fans are going to buy it. Who cares what anybody else does?
I really don't think they're trying to get, anyone else to purchase it other than Doctor Who fans. Especially with the marketing, I don't see them trying to grab Joe Schmo off the street to, oh, this looks interesting, I'm going to buy this one random animated Doctor Who DVD. I
would have to agree, and I think I also think that's why they're not trying so hard. Yeah. But why are we doing these really awesome steel books? Look incredible.
Yeah.
Is that front and back, or are there two different ones?
That's front and back.
Ooh. Tempting.
Well, I don't imagine it's region free either, though, because the Macroterra Blu-rays are not region free, so you'd have to buy it and not watch it.
I'd have to buy it twice.
Yeah.
Buy it, not watch it.
Which is not unknown for Sean, but
it isn't. But honestly, I can say that I have, with the exception of the Cushing movies that I did pick up in Steelbook, and I justified that because they're not part of a set anyway. I can't quite justify the. Oh, these don't match. Twitch.
If they were just movies, it'd be different.
Yeah, my OCD is okay with this, but not with that.
So there's bonus features announcements with it. Reconstruction with surviving footage for episodes 1 and 3. Episode commentaries, making of 5 Easter egg surprises.
Yeah, I saw that. That's
I wonder what those are.
Now, 1 and 3 are the fragments of the episodes that we have, and it's a 6-part serial, right?
Yeah.
This is a big project.
Mm-hmm. So, not a whole lot of bonus features, but considering it's a 6-part story, I'm not too surprised that it's counterbalanced.
Well, and it seems to shoot a bunch of holes in one of our original theories that, they'll animate all the ones that are not missing very much first.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we know?
Our next bit of news comes from Big Finish. Captain Jack is going to meet up with River Song in the new audio drama.
Woohoo!
So finally, they will meet in The Lives of Captain Jack, Volume 3.
Yay.
And they're going to bring along Camille Cordry. Cordry? Jackie. Is going to be in the mix in there somewhere, too.
Yay.
So. Not a lot of details of what's going on in the stories, but really, do you need anything other than Captain Jack and River
Right.
meeting?
We've had this horrible thought. We've kind of joked and teased and wanted this for so long. What if, like, they have zero chemistry and they didn't get along in the recording session? And it was just, it turns into this absolute disaster. Not what anybody expected would happen happens.
I can't imagine that's the case, but
I can't either, but on a long enough timeline, you think that's going to happen eventually. I think that's something the Doctor and I share. I think that it's one of those, I very much want all my companions to get along with each other, even though I know they won't.
And this is also coming out in March 2020. So don't have to wait long to hear this one.
It's going to be an expensive month.
Yeah.
Especially for those of us going to Planet Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Did you see the new announcement?
Good luck on that.
Brandon Routh.
Yay.
I expected something bigger from the Superman fan in the room. Okay, never mind. I retract my
He's come to
excitement.
Hutchinson like twice.
Yeah.
Not
all of us got to go to Hutchinson, Keith.
Well, neither did I, but he's come twice, so it's not as exciting when it's,
We were talking about the Faceless ones. 2 episodes exist. 4 are being animated.
Right.
Well, that's the same amount of animation they did for Macra Terror.
Is it all the whole episodes? Because it just says surviving footage of episodes 1 and 3.
it's
the full episode.
The full episodes are there.
Oh, okay.
At least on my list here.
I suppose that does technically qualify for surviving footage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't think it's fragments of 1 and 3. I think it's everything's there. The surviving fragments are probably the stuff that they edited out for, like,
The surviving film fragments.
from Australia and other markets that would edit them heavily. So yeah, there's still. I mean, that's still the same amount of animation they're doing for. Sorry, I backtracked, but I was looking because I was thinking about it as we were talking about it. I was like, I got to go check this out because it seemed like there was more of it existing than that. So we're back to they're still doing the. They won't do the ones that have a lot of. They're doing the easy ones right now. Actually, I think
so they won't do more than 4.
Right. I think they're doing the ones that they know are captivating enough. Like Faceless Ones has a lot of action in it that you can do some stuff with. I think the ones that we're going to suffer on are going to be things like the Space Pirates and what else? Well, the Space Pirates only has 1 episode still existing, and that's a 6-parter. So,
Still surprised they haven't
Highlanders
started tackling the wheel in space.
Yeah. I have a feeling that has something to do with
That BritBox.
Yeah, BritBox special.
I guess they did start it. Somebody did anyway.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to backtrack us.
That's it in news.
Well, let's move on to feedback.
First up in feedback comes Holly.
Holly writes, "Can you hear me? Hey guys, very interesting episode, and it was neat to see flashbacks to Yaz's past. Got a touch of the Celestial Toy Maker with the villain this episode. Really hoping that Graham is okay. The previews for next week's episode look great. I will wrap it up here. Holly from Wisconsin."
Thank you, Holly.
As
Thank you,
always,
Holly.
thank you, Holly.
And our next bit of feedback comes from Jamie. He writes, Series 12, Episode 7. Hi, Vortexers. Not really much to talk about here. I saw it. It was decent enough. Some good ideas. I was a little confused about what was going on with Yaz. Looking forward to next week. Interested in seeing how it clashes with Mary's story from Big Finish. And, of course, the 2-part finale. Really looking forward to that. So that's it. Short and sweet. Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie.
And that's it in feedback.
I have to admit, I had a little irrational anger when I saw the Next Time trailer, even though I haven't even listened to the Mary Shelley story yet.
I thought the same
like,
thing.
Really?
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
We'll see how they handle it. Maybe they'll give us a throwaway line.
We'll see. We'll see.
You don't remember me, do you?
Let's move on to our review.
All right, Keith, lead us off.
From ancient Syria to present-day Sheffield and out into the wilds of space, something is stalking the Doctor and infecting people's nightmares.
I liked it.
Yeah, I think I liked it.
I really don't have much issue with it. It's kind of a downer story, but I think it's an important story to have out there. And
here's what I liked.
To tackle.
Here's what I liked about it is it gave something for the characters. It gave some character development, especially for Yaz, I think, particularly. I think it gave a little more character development for Graham, which we haven't seen happen since the first season much. It doesn't do a lot for Ryan, except for we do get
he gets some character development outside of Graham.
And with his friend being kind of the surrogate story, which I thought was cool, is that they really kind of, Graham has the dream, Yaz has the dream, but it's Ryan's friend that really is the one is the center point of having those dreams for that one. And so I think that was cool how they kind of took and spun that a little bit, so it was a little different. It wasn't the same thing, kind of felt like a retread there. So yeah, just using him as a surrogate for that development of his character, I really like that. I love the name drops.
Chris Chibnall name dropping more than the Doctor.
I mean, mentioning the Eternals, the Guardians, the Toymaker. I mean, that was, and these two new baddies are right out of that same book of the moral beings that were there before time, and then we'll be there again after time. So I think that's pretty cool. Adding to that lore and without really name dropping, but adding to the mythos of the immortals. So that was pretty cool. I think the only thing that bothered me was the finger in the ear thing. I thought was a bit weird. I think there could have been a better way of extracting nightmares from people than a finger in the ear, but a corporeal finger in the ear.
Literally a finger. And the Aleppo storyline kind of felt unnecessary because where they could have fleshed out more of the companion's backstory. That felt like something that had the Doctor go off and just do to investigate and have so we could have an actual monster in the story, as opposed to these two baddies.
I was actually okay with that part of it.
It just felt a little bit like padding to me,
which is weird because if there's one thing this episode did not need, it was padding. There were so many big ideas stuffed into this. Between, obviously the big reveal of the Eternals, and then the character development with our companions.
I don't know if they're Eternals. They're Immortals.
They're on, okay, fair enough.
Because the Eternals are their own thing.
They're some sort
they're
of...
They're name dropped, so, but
right.
yeah.
Some sort of variant.
They're a celestial being
right.
of some
The
sort.
Eternals are different than the Guardians, and the Guardians are different than the, Toymaker's kind of in his own category, but I think there's somebody else that's been introduced too that's kind of in as well. But I think these two are more in line with the Toymaker than the Eternals or the Guardians, obviously.
Yeah.
Elementals. What do we want to call them?
The
big reveal with
they wouldn't be elementals because elementals are earth, wind, fire. Yeah, elements.
The big reveal with the two Utes, and. So we've got that. We get all the character development with the companions, which is great. We get a very cool, I thought, mental health story.
Yeah.
With Ryan. Man, why am I having so much trouble with his name this season? With his friend. And So I mean, that's already 3 big things going on, and then we're going to throw in this Aleppo and this girl who, she's the one that created the monster. Okay, because we need a monster, and yet, is anybody like super not impressed with the monster? Like the initial scene of it coming down into the town was like, wow, that's great.
And the hand around the face.
And the hand.
Yeah.
And then they showed it to me up on the ceiling, and I was like,
Yeah, it's happened twice this season.
And then
They
it
did the
came
same
down
thing
and it
with
crawls like, oh, it looks like a big wolf.
The same thing with the dregs.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
oh, these are really cool. Well, now you've shown me too much because now it looks like crap.
And we see the dregs again.
Especially for being a nightmare creature, something that's complete. Because I don't know about you guys, but, you know, my nightmares are either very, very specific things that I could pick out in real life, or very nebulous. There's just teeth, or, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think less would have been more in that instance.
It definitely feels like the remit from the network saying it needs to be a monster. Or there needs to be a creature of some sort.
We need something with teeth and claws.
I guess the toy maker is lumped in with the Guardians. Looking at TARDIS Wiki.
But then I balance all of that up against just the sheer weight of this story, because there was so much to it. And I think to myself, this is one of those that I feel like could have benefited from a second episode, maybe, because we get to the end and the Doctor does some hand wavy, got the sonic, got out of the stuff, and I imprisoned you back in the cell. The end.
Well, and that's what I mean, where, like, if we had dropped the Aleppo story, they could have explored, you know, and had more of a conflict of how to resolve the issue with the 2 gods, or whatever we want to call them.
And was there really a reason did it have to be Aleppo? If we're going to go to a historical
other
site,
than the mental health aspect of it.
Yeah.
That's
the
the tie-in.
A thin tie-in.
Yeah,
but
yeah. But that being said, that the Aleppo storyline could have been its own in and of its own.
Right.
There's enough wealth there too that it could have explored.
I mean,
more.
you really could have structured this as a whole, the Doctor in Aleppo and Ryan with his friend and the companions. You could have put all of that together into a part 1, and then gone off planet to the spaceship and had this big. These are the people who are really behind all of this. Okay, that fits the grand scope of the story, but I don't think you can drop a celestial being into it and not give me a little more fanfare. I mean, you know, it's just kind of there, and it's like, these things are big deals. I mean, at least in previous Who, it's always been treated as kind of a big deal.
Well, I think they were still given some amount of big deal in this as well, but I see what you're saying. I don't know. I think the Aleppo connection was just really scene setting. I mean, they needed an exotic location, and that was what they chose for this.
Because we're going back to Sheffield again.
Right.
But
well,
the spaceship or the space station and the 2 planets, that was pretty exotic.
Well, that's true.
That was way more
I guess what I'm
interesting
saying is
to
they're
me.
trying to give us multiple exotic,
yeah.
And contrasting too. I think all of the locations were very contrasting.
And I will give a huge shout out for the production value that's attached to it. The spaceship looked great. It was otherworldly and cool. And
the guitar strings to look at stuff, that was a nice strangeness to it.
Exactly. It was a very exotic looking spaceship. It didn't look like something that we would have built and said spaceship.
Right.
You know, that was cool. The animation segment during the backstory, I thought was a really cool way of doing that.
You know what? If you're going to do an info dump, spend some money and animate it like that. I like that. That was pretty neat.
Way better than a talking head.
Yeah.
And that's just, you know, things that you can do to give it some visual flair as opposed to blah, 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 blah. But it was so strikingly different. And I think that's why I liked it so much, because it wasn't even remotely close to something that we've seen done before.
Right.
No.
So that was cool.
Well, they've been putting in animation into Doctor Who for, last several years. So we've seen animation in Doctor Who. I mean, it's been out of necessity, but
not this way.
but no. This was a different way, but we have seen animation in Doctor Who now.
The dream sequences, the transitions with the clouds.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah, that was neat.
I mean, it was a very effective and it looked good, and you knew right where you were at once you kind of got, okay, this is what the deal is. And yeah, more of that. That was cool. And I wonder if it's a callback in some way, shape, or form to the cover art for this season, which is very kind of nebula cloud, colorful.
Could be.
I don't know. But, so yeah, all of that gets really high marks. And the villains were cool and interesting. And I enjoyed the story. I'm very intrigued by the little itty-bitty nugget of the Timeless Child mythos that we got.
A little nugget.
Itty-bitty
Very
nugget.
little. Not much more than what we saw previously.
But quite honestly, they need to start laying some groundwork because we're coming up on the end of the season.
Yeah.
3 more episodes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. After this.
So, what do we know at this point?
About
We know that it's the Doctor's greatest fear from last season, right? The Ghost Monument, isn't that the one where this was initially laid down?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's where it was initially laid down. I don't remember for sure if it was the greatest fear or not.
Because they were probing her mind and looking for fear, and then they said, no, we go back further than that. Oh, the Timeless Child. And it was like, oh, what is this?
Yeah, you're right.
And then the Master's comments from Spyfall about everything we know is a lie, or built on the lie of the Timeless Child. Right. And I went and looked and saw there's already a slew of reaction and speculation videos and all. I love fandom. They go nuts over stuff like this. And the one I didn't get it. I really didn't get it. Like, okay, here's the dream sequence and here's the Doctor and she's standing on, I don't know, a very cool cobblestone something or another. I wonder where that location was at because it was really cool. And she looks over at this, monolithic whatever, and there's a child. And that's what I got. That was it. That's the extent of my thing. But apparently everybody online has a whole different... they saw a different episode than what I saw. Because they're saying it's Gallifrey. And that there's a vortex in the sky overhead. And this Timeless Child is Ruth. And that she was abandoned because of this is the opening of the Eye of Harmony. And I'm like, you got all of that out of 1 second of footage? Because I didn't see it.
I think that's a lot of extrapolating and a lot of assumptions.
That's a Hail Mary there.
I'm going to have to go back and watch it now and see if I can get that out of it, because I didn't see that.
Yeah, that's a Hail Mary. So I'm curious if you guys got more out of it than I did, because I sure didn't see any of that.
Oh. It made me sit up and go, ooh, and then I was like, oh, we didn't get anything. Nothing.
But okay, so yeah, we don't know anything. Is I think where we come down on that. Don't know anything that we didn't already know, which was not much to begin with. I had something else that I wanted to bring up, and I forgot now.
I had one small complaint with the episode.
What's that?
And I don't think it's indicative of this Doctor. I think it's just indicative of the Doctor. But so they're looking at, okay, what's going on here? And look, there's someone trapped in this thing. And she calls it a prison. It's not just a, oh no, they're trapped. She calls it specifically, it's a prison. Is it the smartest thing to just randomly go let prisoners out?
I had that same
you
thought.
Stop and go, wait, it's a prison. Why are they in here?
They must have been locked. I mean, you put that kind of complex combination lock on it.
Right. I mean, if it's trapped by blah, 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 that's completely different. It's all in the phrasing of what's going on. It can be the exact same situation that then gets revealed, oh, look, it was really a bad guy all along, by saying, oh, no, this person is trapped, stuck, whatever, as opposed to, it's a prison. Well, yeah, it's a bad guy in there. It kind of took the reveal of this woman being good and actually being bad, took the reveal out of it, because it's like, well, of course she was. It was a prison.
Maybe from the doctor's perspective,
Everyone's innocent.
she recognizes prisons because she's usually in them. I mean, historically, we've been locked up a lot.
And needs to be rescued. So.
And needs to be rescued or escape or whatnot. And because the doctor is obviously innocent of whatever they were locked up for to begin with, that's her automatic default setting is, oh, it's a prison. This person obviously is not supposed to be here. It's a stretch. It's a Hail Mary. But
it is a bit of a stretch. Well, it's to some extent, this doctor seems to jump into action before stopping to think. And I think it's pretty common with a lot of doctors, but it's becoming more frequent and more common with this doctor. And it's not a trend I necessarily like, because I like it adds a fallibleness to the doctor that, well, it's good to be fallible. I don't want them overly fallible.
Right, yeah,
right.
It's just a small nitpick.
No, you're not wrong, because you're right. It did kind of suck some of the impact of the reveal out of the way.
Yeah.
But no, I haven't been torturing her. I've been feeding her. Well, duh.
I didn't get the feeding her part initially, and so he says it, but it's obviously they were in cahoots.
Yeah. I thought
I've watched this again, and it's totally Gallifrey, it's totally Ruth, and there's a vortex of the Eye and Harmony right above her.
Oh, get out!
I completely buy into it now.
Great. Now we don't even need to see the finale.
If you watch it, you can totally extrapolate everything they're saying though from it.
Oh, so what you're saying is that I can make up a totally different thing and it'll still work.
Probably.
That's how the internet works, Sean.
God love you, fandom.
But you know what? I saw a whole lot more just watching that again in the last few minutes than I did the first. I didn't realize it was that piece was even that long when I watched the episode first time. So that was a lot longer than I remembered.
What, 2 seconds?
There's a lot of cutaways to her face.
Well, no, 2 seconds is what I thought it was the first time. This time it was probably 6 or 7 seconds long. What are you laughing at? That's twice as long. Actually, that's 4 times as long.
6 whole seconds.
7 or 8, probably.
Oh,
it's longer than 2. I thought it was a shot of I thought it was a shot of the timeless child standing by those concrete things.
That's a longer version of the same shot from previously.
But there is that pan up, and you do see the vortex above, and I don't know that it's Gallifrey, but it's
doesn't look like Gallifrey.
It's very ornate concrete buildings.
I don't know.
We haven't seen all of Gallifrey. Could be.
It doesn't match the Eighth Doctor's description of orange grass and purple skies. And...
No, but when the 12th Doctor comes out of the confession dial and is standing on that desert area, I would never have thought that Gallifrey looked like some desert in the middle of nowhere on Earth, but it does, at least in that location. So,
oh yeah, that was probably close to the Death Zone. I mean, not all of Gallifrey is a garden spot.
It was next to the farmhouse he grew up in.
Oh yeah. Just down the road from the Death Zone. The Doctor grew up in Rohan, right across the way from Mordor. I mean, come on. I wonder if anybody do we know? Is there in all the vast resource material that's out there in Doctor Who, all the reference guide and stuff? Do we have a map of Gallifrey anywhere?
I don't know that we do.
I'm kind of curious now. Maybe we should create one. The official Traveling the Vortex Guide to Gallifrey.
Right.
Yeah. So there's that. You're not wrong, Keith. You're not wrong. The actor who played Fingerman, he was effectively creepy.
He was. I agree.
And again, great makeup and look for him.
Great voice, too.
Great voice, yeah. He was enough to give me nightmares. Like, don't stick your finger in my ear, dude. That's... you ever get that high-pitched whine in your ear when you realize your hearing's going out? I just had that happen right as I said that. That's creepy.
Your tinnitus is kicking in.
Malp.
Takes the Wet Willie to a whole new level.
Oh, God, now I can see it. Oh. I got nothing from there.
Sean, what do we got coming up on the schedule?
What's the name of the next one, Keith?
I always start asking Keith what's coming up on the schedule.
Well, at least while who's in season, I don't know.
The Haunting of Villa Diodati.
See, the truth is I just wanted to hear him say it before I attempted it.
I have no idea if that's pronounced correctly.
That one's coming up next
The
week.
Mary Shelley story.
It's the Mary Shelley
The Mary Shelley story that's going to screw up Big Finish altogether.
Maybe. We don't know.
Maybe, maybe not.
Probably, but yeah,
Probably.
I'm going to stick with maybe for right now. I mean, we're going back and throwing in all these deep cuts.
Well,
I mean, God, we went back to a Fifth Doctor era villain. Come on.
It's not like the series has never contradicted its own history either, though. So
It's true.
Atlantis.
yeah, that's even within its own TV existence.
For those of you that are interested in following along, there is, believe it or not, an updated schedule posted on our website finally. So you can expect us to finish out the season, and then we've got the next Lethbridge Stewart book from where we left off. Some more Big Finish, obviously, in the pipeline. Some comics. We got all kinds of good stuff coming up, so go check it out.
Make sure you also check us out on TARDIS Sauce over on sci-fi4me.com and Sci-Fi For Me TV on YouTube. Be sure you're following that link, and hopefully you're subscribed, and click little bell to get notifications so that you know when a new one drops, and they usually come out every Wednesday. For now, it's every Wednesday as long as the series is on, and then we'll go back to bi-weekly after the series concludes.
We'll have to ask Tim and Macy what they got out of that scene. How long was it?
Yeah, that 6-second scene.
I got a bet with Glenn. Anywhere between 1 second and 7.
I just had it open. I could time it. Be sure to check out our website, travelingthevortex.com, for updates on this podcast. While you're there, be sure to check out the schedule that Sean has posted, and also click on our Patreon link and consider supporting us. Throw some money our way. All support is appreciated, and everyone that is supporting the podcast, thank you very much. And remember, you can send your comments and feedback to feedback@travelingthevortex.com or by clicking on the Send Feedback link on the website. So that's going to do it for this week. Until next week, I'm Glenn.
I'm Sean.
I'm Keith.
Cheers.
Good night, everybody.
Be seeing you.
Thanks for listening.
You have been listening to Traveling the Vortex. Doctor Who and all of its associated programs are owned and trademarked by the BBC. No infringement is intended or implied.